This is a standard fork. I will say my kids are definitely not smart enough to just put one in to open it up. So I'll just use a knife here. It will not open, like as much pressure. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. It is time for another reaction video today. Today's reaction video will be based off a topic that was in a recent video that I did on 25 ways that the UK, you guys, are better than us, the US. It was an interesting video, brought up a lot of interesting topics. One of them was about the different electrical plugs between the US and the UK. Like always, the US does things totally different, and I don't really understand anything about the British plugs other than that they're very different than ours. Like, we can't take a charger or anything from the US, take it over there, it won't work. So that is today's topic. A lot of you guys recommended that I check out this channel from Tom Scott, and he has a video explaining how British plugs are better. So that's what I'm going to watch today. Before we get into that video though, make sure that you hit that like button. Before we get in the video today, make sure that you smash that like button, hit that notification bell. If you're new to this channel, then please consider subscribing to help support it, and to also be able to keep up to date on all future content. Other than that, if you guys are already subscribed and watching it, thank you so much. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And with that, let's get right into this video.
I get a little bit patriotic sometimes. And sometimes that's for comedy purposes, and sometimes it's genuine. And this is genuine, because I really do believe that the British plug is one of the greatest designs that has ever hit the world. For loads of reasons. I mean, there's a safety feature that most folks, at least in Britain, know, which is that it's really difficult for a kid to take, say, a screwdriver and just poke it into one of the holes. Because up here is earth, ground, for the Americans, that's a safety one. These two here are live and neutral, where the actual danger is. But they've got shutters over them. I cannot, don't try and sit home, I cannot poke a screwdriver in there right now. What I have to do is plug the earth pin, which you can see is slightly longer, the ground pin here, in first. And when that goes in, little shutters come up and let the other pins in. So I can show that, because this extension here is really badly designed, which means I can put the plug in upside down. So if you have a look at those shutters, when I put the earth pin in, there we go, and there's now a contact for the other two pins. So you need to have a really inventive baby to be able to put...
Yeah, I don't think any kids, maybe there are some, but I will say my kids are definitely not smart enough to just put one in to open it up. With that being said, yeah, it's definitely, the outlets look very, very different than ours. Somewhat similar, but they're like sideways and upside down. Again, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, I'm just saying that's how it is.
One in there and another in there, and then get a shock. So that's safer, that's brilliant. What about if you leave the plug halfway out? Because American, European sockets, you leave the plug halfway out, you've got live electricity that you can kind of touch. You can get a finger in there. Well, not here, because on the live and neutral pins on the bottom, you can see insulation extends halfway through them. If the plug is far enough in to make a connection, like that, all you can touch is the insulation. Okay, so that's the
That's brilliant, really, honestly, that is brilliant.
obvious safety features. What about on the inside? Because you've got to remember, until 1992, the British government did not require that electrical appliances had plugs on them. If you bought a toaster or a washing machine, you would get, almost always, a bare wire at the end. And you'd expect to wire the plug yourself. So I got taught how to wire a plug in school, because that was still a required skill back then. Here we go, if I open this up, first there's a fuse. And that's an artifact of when...
Okay, yeah, what he's talking about with appliances, now obviously all our toaster ovens, microwaves, all that stuff obviously already comes pre-wired and plugged. But if you do buy a washer or, if you buy a dryer or a range or an oven, you still have to wire that yourself. So maybe we're just behind on the times. I'm not for sure why. I think it's because some of our really old houses still have really old wiring, and so it's only 3-prong for those, so they don't have a ground. So they leave that option up to you, because you either have to choose between 3 or 4-prong connector for your dryer and or oven. Those are about the only things that you buy here though that are not already wired. So I guess we're just behind on the times compared to you guys. That's what it kind of seems like. But all our other things are definitely wired from the factory.
The standard was made. Post-World War II, there was a copper shortage, and, well, it was a lot cheaper to require a fuse in every plug and just build the circuit as one loop of cable going around the whole house than it was to have loads of individual copper strands going out all over the house and a fuse for each. So they just made the house one giant circuit, put a fuse in each plug. That's now safer. Then you've got the 3 wires. Blue is neutral. BL, L for left, blue goes to the left. Brown is live, BR, R goes to the right, live goes to the right. You can also remember that live is brown because that's the colour your trousers will go if you accidentally hit yourself with it. And finally there's this one, the green and yellow. That's the earth or the ground wire. Now in normal operation that shouldn't be used, but it's basically a return path if all else fails. If something goes electrically wrong in the plug or in the appliance, that will ground it and all the electricity will safely go away from people. Because if that disconnects and there's a problem, well, you could touch the metal bit of this toaster and the electricity could ground itself through you and through your heart, which is bad. So instead, you have this wire here, and this is the really clever bit. This is the bit that not many people know about. You see that slack in the wire just here? In the event that there's a tug on this cable and something goes wrong, and all these start fraying and coming out, the live and the neutral, the ones where the danger is, they'll get pulled out first, and then the earth wire will come out next. So in the event of damage, of fraying, it's most likely that the earth wire is going to be the safe one and no one's going to get killed. So there you go, the British plug, genuinely one of the best bits of design I've ever come across.
So on the colors, yeah, we do a little bit different. Black is hot for us, white is neutral, and then ground is actually just a totally bare wire, usually. It's just a piece of copper that's not jacketed. But that is brilliant though, leaving that slack, that was really smart. I haven't opened up too many appliances plugs. I haven't opened up too many plugs, so I'm not for sure if we have slack in the ground or not. I kind of feel like we do. If you're wiring up an outlet, then you actually twist them all together so there's no way that the ground can become separate. That is how we do it here.
With one exception, which is that if you just let it fall on the ground because, you're just throwing something out the way, it will almost certainly end up with the points pointing upwards, which means in the middle of the night, when you stand on it, it is really gonna hurt.
Nice, good video. Now, I actually have my own little personal show, I guess, for you guys to show what American plugs are like. Now, I am not an electrician and I do not understand the science behind electricity as much. I'm learning a little bit because I find it fascinating. But like I said, you guys run off of, I think, 240 for your outlets. We go off 120, well, 110. We bring 220 into our house and then we convert it down to 110 for appliances and all your outlets. I do not understand why we do that as opposed to doing 240. Anyway, with that being said, great video. Thanks for suggesting. I feel like there's a lot of missed numbers though, because a lot of the comments on my previous video, like I said, a lot of you guys thought, one, that we have a bunch of 2-plug outlets. That is a thing of the past. If you see it, you automatically know it's not grounded and it's dangerous and that your electricity needs to be upgraded. I am speaking from some experience because I have wired up a lot of houses. All the wire I've done is past the panel, so pretty much just putting in outlets, running wires, hooking up lights. Nothing too crazy hard to do. So the biggest misnomer is that we don't have any safety features, I feel like. Now this is a standard outlet that you will find in a house. The small one is our hot. Now, you guys have a really cool way with the brown and I forget what he said the other one. For the left, blue and brown, that's actually really smart. I like that better. But we go by color. The hot, the power is on the black nut, but you can also, sorry, not black, kind of brassy, gold. But you can also know because it's on the right side or the small side of the plug is your hot. The left is your neutral, the bigger one, and it is like a silver screw. And then there's your ground right there. And then this middle, the third prong is your ground, and it comes down to this ground screw, which then gets wired with all your other grounds, which goes back to the breaker. Pretty much if it detects an influx in power, it will trip the breaker. So that's the safety feature. How it looks, it'll be like that. That is what you'll see outside of like your wall or sheetrock or whatever. So the only metal you can touch is this little, well, I don't have it on here, but it's this little screw that you screw on, something like that, which is metal. But if you touch that, it is grounded through this ground screw. So I don't know if that's safer, but it definitely has some safety features. This is our standard switch, on, off, very similar. It's got a ground, so it is protected. The main thing I want to bring up though is the GFCI is what we have. This guy right here is most safety feature outlet that we have. Now it's the same thing. Small is hot, big is neutral, and then this is your ground. But it has this like built-in little breaker system here. And so from what I understand is there's like a loop of electricity going through this outlet. And from your power it comes, or from your hot side it comes back into your neutral, and it's like constantly detecting, and it needs to be an even level of electricity or amperage or whatever. So let's say this is what you would have in a bathroom, a kitchen, a garage, outside, any wet location, you put this in. Now this can also protect up to 6 outlets downstream of it. I don't know if that should make sense. Anyway, so this is, you don't have to put these every single place, because these are like these are actually expensive. These are like $20 for this one outlet. And an outlet like this is like $1. So one of these can protect 6 of these. Anyway, it has like a loop of constant, even electricity going through it. That's the key thing. Even electricity. So if you drop like a hairdryer in a bathroom into a sink of water, some of your electricity will go into the water, and it will detect that an imbalance. So if this is like 100% and this is like suddenly becomes 85% or 95%, it would detect that, and one of these the reset button would trigger. It'll pretty much like a breaker, it'll trip, and then this light, which is normally green when it's working correctly, will turn red. And then you just hit reset and it'll go back to normal after that. Now this can detect apparently up to like a 40th of a second an imbalance in power. So these guys, I feel like, are pretty darn safe. Also on the outlet, I don't know if I mentioned this, we have the same kind of safety feature or similar to what you guys have. These prongs, the little doors that only open when 2 things go inside of them. So this is a standard fork. You guys probably have the same thing. But with the middle prong, it can't really go in there anyway. But, so I'll just use a knife here. But it will not open. Like, as much pressure as you put on it, it will absolutely not open. You have to have, and this is a standard phone charger for us. Sorry. Something like that. It is only 2 prongs, so it's not grounded. I'm assuming because it's low wattage. But if you have a 2-prong thing, it will open up just like that. Now for our heavier appliances, I gotta get this. For our heavier appliances, we do have the 3-prong. This is a standard 3-prong for us. It will be on most of your appliances. Anything that really draws juice is like this. And then it goes, and kind of like yours, the ground is a little bit longer, and then these 2 are even. And because of this, now also a difference on yours is your guys' kind of look like a little bit like your grounds are upward. Ours are on the bottom, because this is how you would install it. But it goes in, which, there we go. Kind of like that. That is our outlets. Anyway, it's just an interesting topic. Like I said, I'm not an electrician, but I have done quite a bit of wiring and like wiring these guys up, putting outlets in, switches, lights, all that stuff. But if you guys are interested in more of that stuff, feel free. It seems like there's a ton of videos explaining our electricity. I'm probably check out more of your guys's. A while back on Instagram, someone named Jason and me, we started talking quite a bit, and we actually came across the topic of your guys' the differences in plugs and wiring and stuff. And it seems really interesting. We were like sending pictures back and forth of like the breaker panels and the switches and the outlets and everything. What he showed me is you guys do have a switch that kills power to every outlet. We do not have that. You could wire it up. You could bring power to this switch first, and then from here, have it go to this outlet, and you could shut this off, and then this would be totally dead. The downside of that, though, in our system, is you would still have live power right next to this outlet, which doesn't really seem to make sense of why you would kill power to the outlet, but this still have power. So you normally don't ever see a switch operating an outlet, except for like a garbage disposal, or if you like have a lamp plugged in and you want to be able to switch it. That's about it. So we do have constant power at all of our outlets and switches and stuff. It's very interesting to see the differences. I'm definitely gonna look more into your guys's, and feel free to check out more about how we do ours. Feel free, if you know why you guys use 240 and why we use 10, then let me know in the comments, because this is a topic I'm always really interested in. If you guys watched this far, thank you so much. I love you guys. I love all your support. Thanks for all your recommendations. That being said, I think that's all I have for today, and I will see you guys all next time. Love you guys.